lifelong links. Take a right long think. It might not sink in until you hit the brink of this rink that's frozen, so break it open. Seize the moment. Realise the importance. The good that it does builds foundations for love, helps rise above past use of drink or drugs. It's not about them and it's not about you. It's about finding the ones that love me too. In a life that's askew, filled with drink and abuse, I think that we should find the family that's good. I'm not sure what to say and I'm not sure how to act, but I know for a fact I'll get my family back.
Thanks so much, Sandy. It's actually a pleasure to meet you. I've heard so much about you and the work that I've been doing with Lifelong Links, but we've never actually had the chance to meet before. So it's really nice to meet the legend in person.
The legend. Thank you.
Well, you're very well known. We've got a few questions here if you're happy to do a quick Q&A.
Perfect.
Brilliant. Thanks, Sandy. So what was your first reaction when you were first asked to take part in Lifelong Links?
I was quite surprised actually that something like that even existed, because I remember I've been in care since I was really, really young. Like I was in foster care, and then, you know, from about 5, and then there was some abuse there, so that didn't go very well, and I ended up in residential care. But like growing up, I just accepted the fact that I was never going to see my siblings again, or I was never going to see them for a really, really long time. Like I remember sitting down writing these letters when I was about 7 that were going to get posted to my siblings, and then one day when I turned 16 I'd maybe like get in touch with them. But the fact that, like, you know, when my coordinator got in touch with me, it was like all my dreams had came true. Like all these people that I'd fantasized about, the years and the months and the time spent wondering, all these questions that I had about, because both my parents are dead now, and I have all these questions, and now I have relatives of them that can maybe answer those questions. And I've got an auntie way up north who's like really excited to meet me, and you know, she's got cancer, so she's quite ill, and I don't know how long she's got, but because of Lifelong Links I've actually got some sort of time with her. And sorry, I went off on a tangent there, but I was just amazed that something like this even existed, and the fact that there's some initiative in place that's going to try and stop siblings getting split up in the first place and whatever is really, really exciting for me.
Oh, that's so nice to hear, Sandy, because obviously I said earlier I've just been reunited with my eldest son, so he's now reconnecting with his younger sister, so I can really relate to the importance of that and the importance of that connection, that link with another person. How did the Lifelong Links process work for you?
So the way that it worked is I'd meet up with Anne, my worker, and we'd sort of like go over who I was wanting to talk about, and you know, she'd go away and see what she could do. But the first step was, I remember this, it was actually one of the most amazing moments of my entire life. So I was in the unit, and she came in, and in my unit there was like a upstairs and then like a wee middle bit and then a downstairs. So we were downstairs in one of these big rooms that they called the chill out room, because you know what children's homes are like. There's like 30 rooms, and we had like all these, like, it was about 3 or 4 bits of paper all stuck together, and it was my family tree, and it was weird looking at it. Like, you know, I was like, I don't even know how you pronounce that last name, but I want to know who this person is. And yeah, it was crazy, because I remember, you know, my whole life, you know, my whole time in foster care, I was like, I've not got a family, I just want a family, you know, I'll never have a family. And you know, I got my siblings, and I got my auntie, and I got my cousins. So yeah.
That's so wonderful to hear. It really is. Could you what was the response from the people that you were looking for? What happened when they were contacted by a coordinator?
So the responses were really good, actually. I'm not sure, there was one person that I wanted to get in touch with, and I don't think I took it as far as getting a coordinator involved, because I gave him a message on Facebook and he didn't seem too keen. But the ones that so there was my brothers and there was my auntie, and they were all really, really quite excited. I remember the first meeting with my brothers, actually. There's this in the middle of town, there's this like youth group I used to go to, it's called Canongate Youth. And I went as like a music project, but they also rent the rooms out. So that was where I met my brothers for the first time properly. And yeah, it was just it's so even like it's inexplicable, almost like that feeling of when you've built someone up in your head for so many years, and you see them, and and it's funny, right, because they're twins, but then one's the spitting image of my mum and one's the spitting image of my dad. And yeah, even like through lockdown, my brother Connor, he's been like my biggest support, and I wouldn't have really had that without lifelong links.
So good to hear. Actually, my next question was going to be on what impact has it had on you, but I think it's safe to say that you can say that's had a really positive impact. It's so lovely to hear you talking about being reunited with the family and being able to make those sort of connections between who each person looks like, and it gives you that sense of identity, I would imagine.
Talking about the impact, though, the biggest impact it has, and I'm really, really thankful to Lifelong Links for this. So my dad died about a year ago, and my granddad died a month after. And I was in charge of like organising my dad's funeral, and I went to my granddad's funeral too, and I'd never been to a funeral before that. But obviously, my brothers would have been there regardless, like, because it's their birth family, whether I knew them or not. And if it wasn't for Lifelong Links, my first time meeting my brothers would have been at my dad's funeral. And I'm just so grateful that I got to have time with them before that, and that we got to know each other before that, and that after it, we went and got food, and it was nice, and we had a laugh, and it wasn't awkward. Like,
No, definitely.
yeah,
You had that support. I mean, what an awful situation to have imagined the first time you're meeting your siblings is at another family member's funeral. It's so lovely to hear that Lifelong Links prevented that from happening and
yeah.
actually meant that you had some support while you were going through that. And what would you say to other young people being offered Lifelong Links, or to local authorities that are considering setting up Lifelong Links into their services?
I'm going to start with the local authorities. Do it, or I'll come for you. Like, I'll write essays to whoever I need to write essays to. And in terms of the young people, I would say, if you're considering it and it's something you want, do it, but don't do it until you're ready, because it brings up a lot of feelings. Some can be quite nasty ones. Like, for me, as much as I love my brothers, when I was younger, I had to look after them. So there's occasionally little feelings of resentment there. So I think, like, it's maybe nice to like start building up the process, but take your time. Take your time.
Brilliant. And how are your relationships now with the people you made contact with? I know you've spoken about your siblings, but are there any other people that have really sort of made an impact on your life and you're glad to have back in your life?
So my auntie, actually, now that I have contact with my auntie, she's like my way into the whole entire side of the family, because my nana is an alcoholic, and I don't really get on with her. But now that I talk to my auntie, like, if I have casual conversations with her, I'll just kind of know what's going on for everybody. So although she's the only one I've made proper contact with, she's the one that's like made me part of the family now. And I went up to meet them in Elgin, actually, with my key worker from the unit. It was amazing. We went to this little pancake place, and my auntie was there, and her daughter was there, and her daughter's daughter was there. So I've got a cousin and a second cousin now, and we went for a walk to the beach and got some ice cream. And my auntie's really anxious, and she lives really far away, so we don't talk much. But she messaged me one time. I was starting to doubt, if she really wanted me in her life. But she messaged me one time and was like, yeah, sorry, I've not been in touch so much lately. Like, things could just be a bit difficult. But after lockdown, we'll get something sorted, and I'll get you up to come see me. And I cried, because I never thought, I never knew my mum. And the fact that I'll get to know my mum's sister and almost vicariously know my mum through her is it's a dream come true.
Wow. Thank you, Sandy. And now I think everybody else on this call can see why you're known as the legend within Family Rights Group. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your experiences with me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. It's been great chatting to you all, by the way. I've had a really nice time tonight. Everyone's had wonderful stories to tell.
That's really great to hear. Thanks, Sandy, so much.